So you're thinking about moving to Wells, Maine, and you're trying to figure out what exactly it's like to live in the area, not just, the pros and cons of what it's like to live there, but you want to see what it's like to drive around and see where everything is in the town, where your kids are going to go to school, where you're going to go grocery shopping, and what it's like to actually be immersed in life here. So that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video, what it's like to live in Wells, Maine. Let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is give you a little bit of history about the town of Wells. So Wells was first established in 1641, which is before Maine even broke off from Massachusetts to become its own state. The borders of Wells actually used to include what is now known as Ogunquit and Kennebunk, so it was a larger area. Kennebunk initially broke off, and then Ogunquit broke off from Wells in the 1980s. So today, obviously, Wells is nestled right in between Kennebunk and Ogunquit, and the town has now grown to over 12,000 residents. It's about an hour and 45 minutes to Boston. It's about 25 minutes down to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and about 35 minutes to Portland, Maine. All right, so Wells does not have a traditional downtown area for me to show you around. It really just has Route 1 running through the town. So I'm going to drive up and down Route 1 and show you guys what it looks like in kind of that central area of Wells. And then I'm going to take you down to the beach, down to the harbor, and show you what it looks like in kind of some of the more notable places that residents might mention. All right, so now we are kind of approaching the end of Mile Road, coming up on Wells Beach. So this particular area of the beach has some restaurants, cute little shops, hotels, that type of thing. And there are not really lots of restaurants or shops or anything running along any other part of kind of Wells Beach. If you go off to the right, down Webb Hannet, it's really just residential. There's not really there's only one restaurant down there, and that's the Wells Beach Lobster Pound. And if you head off to the left and you head down Atlantic Ave, it's again just residential with a big parking lot at the end. So there's a couple of different areas in Wells for people to park and go to the beach, this particular area, and the end of Atlantic Ave probably being the most notable. All right, so this plaza right off of Mile Road, about a 2-minute drive from the beach, is where the grocery store is in Wells, Hannaford. So Wells actually has two grocery stores, Hannaford and then a smaller one called the IGA. Hannaford is a little bit bigger. It tends to be where most people do the majority of their shopping. But it is important to point out that this is a rather expensive grocery store, and a lot of people that live in Wells still drive over to Portsmouth or Biddeford to get their groceries, as they don't want to pay the prices at this grocery store. A lot of people have speculated that the prices are higher just because the area is so touristy. If you even Google, what is the most expensive grocery store in Maine, there's no articles or anything stating, which one is the most expensive, but this one is the first to pop up on the list. With that said, it's not really anything absurd. The groceries are a little bit more expensive, but they do have it is a very nice grocery store, and they have a really wide variety of stuff to get. And I think it's still a lot less expensive, or maybe in and around what people would pay at grocery stores such as Whole Foods. So while the prices are up there, it's not really anything too crazy, but it's just something to mention. All right, so now we are back on Route 1. I just wanted to insert a little bit more footage of this area. This is kind of the road that everybody who lives in Wells is taking every single day. All of the stores and shops are on this main road, so it's definitely important to be familiar with it and see what it's like to drive up and down it, because you're going to be taking it every single day. All right, so this is the Wells Harbor. I'm taking you guys through this area only because a lot of local events happen down here. This is where a lot of people take photos. It's where the Harbor Fest is. It's where I think it's called the Mid-Coast Marathon, or the Maine Coast Marathon actually ends. There is a small beach here, which I personally like to go to just because not a lot of tourists know about it. But there is a small beach here, which is nice to go to. Like I said, a lot of people take photos down here for like graduation and prom, and it's just kind of a cool little area to know about. And I figured I would show you guys around it. All right, and now we are pulling into the Wells Algonquin High School, which is also where Moody residents go. The high school has roughly 450 students, give or take. It ranks in the top 5 to 10% of the state for test scores and in the top 1% for graduation rates. This is actually where I went to high school. I'm transferred to Wells when I was in elementary school, or very late elementary school, and graduated from Wells. So as the test scores show, Wells is a pretty good high school, all things considered, in the state. A lot of the high schools and a lot of the school systems in general in this area tend to rank very well along the coast. So you really can't go wrong as far as the school system goes. All right, so that is what it's like to live in Wells, Maine. I hope you found this video helpful. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send an email, schedule a Zoom call. All that information's in the description below. See you next time.